Hi everyone, it's Keely. Today I'm going to be doing a speed paint video for you as usual of this girl here. She is a painting that I've designed to go into my upcoming zine or ZINE, however you want to say it, which I'll talk about in just a minute, but first I want to talk about the materials I used to make her. So starting off, I used a Prismacolor Col-Erase pencil in Rose. I used these Taklon brushes. I don't remember the brand, but I'll list them below. Blick Studio Round Brush for the fine details, Higgins White Ink for the white details, and then my Winsor and Newton Cotman watercolors, which I always use and are my trusty staple in literally every watercolor painting that I do from now until I die. Okay, so here you can see that I had already painted her hair, which was a complete my bad, because honestly what happened was I set everything up to film. I went, okay, I'm going to film a video, and then I got ahead of myself and started painting her hair without actually recording, and then I realized that I was in fact filming a video and needed to be recording. So yeah, if I could go back in time and actually record that part for you, I would, but it wasn't that interesting because honestly I just used a wash of a custom-made watercolor paint that I made for this particular project, and it was just one wash all over her hair. So yeah, like I mentioned briefly, this painting is for a project I've been working on for, like, honestly this project I've kind of been working on for like a year. I have wanted to make a zine or ZINE. I honestly don't know what the proper way to say it is. I've heard people say it both ways. I think it's zine as in magazine, but I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, when I first started like really exploring the like artist community on Instagram, I started kind of seeing people making zines, and I read up on them and I thought that they were really cool and really interesting, and ever since I first heard about them I really wanted to make one. And my problem was always that I was either too busy working on other projects, I was like I had a hard time coming up with a good concept. I wanted it to be themed, but I didn't know if I wanted it to be themed in content. I didn't know if I wanted it to be themed in a color palette, or, you know, I didn't know exactly how to execute it, and I didn't know how I wanted to execute it. So I just kind of put off the project, but I always knew that I really wanted to make one, and I also had a hard time deciding if I wanted them to be hand bound by me personally, or if I wanted to have them bound by a, you know, one of those independent like publishing companies. And after doing some research in both, I decided that I wanted to do them hand bound, because this project for me is a labor of love, and I want everyone who receives one of these to feel that it was a labor of love and know that I took the time to like handcraft each of them, and that they were all very personal and each one was like a little bit of me. You know, I know that sounds really corny, but that's honestly what I wanted. I wanted each one to be very personal, and I didn't see how I could get that with a publishing company. Which I totally see how people go through publishing companies. I'm fully aware of what a huge project this is going to be for me to do by myself, but I'm ready to do it and I'm excited to do it, and I hope that I can finish it in the timeline that I have set for myself. So this kind of ties in with my, zine thing, but let me go off on a little tangent. For a while, I've been wanting to make a lot of kind of big changes to my shop. I want to change the paper that I make my prints on. I want to change up my stock a little bit, and there's just a lot that I want to do differently. And I was kind of waiting, like I was putting all these little projects off until the beginning of the year, because I thought that if I put them off to the beginning of the year, it would make a really nice like New Year's like shop update, so that I could start fresh and I could be excited about what I was selling for the new year. And so that's what I'm doing. On December 24th, my Etsy shop will be closing down for the last week of the year, so that I have time to work on this project and to make other stock for my shop. So, given that timeline, and the fact that I only started physically working on this about a week and a half to 2 weeks ago, I am kind of in a time crunch, and I did this to myself, but I'm going to follow through because I want to do this and I'm really excited to do it, so I'm gonna make it happen. But basically what needs to happen is I need to complete all of the internal art for this zine by January 1st. I need to have it all scanned, cleaned up, formatted, and ready to be printed and made into a whole bunch of zines, excuse me, by January 1st, which basically means that I'm going to have to be making at least one or as many as 3 paintings a day to meet that quota with enough time to do all the editing and processing that I'm going to need to do to have it up in my shop by the time that I'm hoping. So that's part of why I'm closing the shop down for a week, is so that I have time to really just focus on doing these paintings so that I can get this zine put together. So yeah, I hope that explains that a little bit for some of you guys. Also, all of these originals will be available in my shop as after the zine has been released. There's several I'm sitting on that I haven't really released on my Instagram page, just because I want there to be some exclusive content. But it won't be that exclusive because you will be able to see them in my shop once they've gone up for sale. So if you keep an eye on my shop, you will probably be some of the first people to see some of the content that I've made. But I decided for this zine that I wanted to do it themed in a color palette. So I decided that my color palette was going to be Prussian blue and this nice like peachy rosy color. You'll probably see at least one more video of me painting these girls, so look out for that. And yeah, this color that I'm using is a color that I mixed a whole bunch of because I knew I wanted the colors to be consistent, so I was like, the best way to make them consistent is to mix it yourself. So I believe what it's a combination of is a little bit of lamp black, crimson, lemon yellow, Chinese white, I think, permanent rose, and I think that's, oh, and a little bit of brown. I don't remember which brown. But all of those came together to make this, and so now I have a permanent little slot on my palette filled with that color. So I'm hoping that it'll last me the whole project because I really want it to be a consistent shade. So yeah, in case you're wondering, that's what I used to make that color. The Prussian blue is just the regular Winsor Newton Cotman Prussian blue mixed with a little bit of black to make it a little richer and a little deeper. And then I use them in varying shades of like washes and with different amounts of white to give a little bit of diversity to the color palette, but without completely branching out of, you know, what I wanted to stick to. So I hope that makes sense. Yeah, all of these originals will be 8.5 by 11, which is a little bit smaller than what I usually work on. I usually work on 9 by 12, but I wanted them to be a little bit smaller so they'd be a little bit easier to scan and edit and all that sort of stuff. So you see me working on a 9 by 12, but I trim it down to 8.5 by 11 after the video's over. So at the end, you'll see it trimmed and you'll see like what the final shape and size is going to look like. So yeah, I don't think I want to release the name of the zine yet because I'm not 100% sure of it. I'm pretty sure, but not 100%. So I don't want to release a name that I can't guarantee will be the final product's name, but I'm really excited about it, and I really, really hope that you guys like it when it's all done because I've been working nonstop on this, and I really hope that you guys love it as much as I'm loving making it. So thank you guys for watching so much. As always, I will leave all my handles down below so you can follow me on social media. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you. Bye.